Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros el día de hoy en nuestro evento de Canada Education, Colleges y Universidades. Al nombre de Class Education les quiero desear la más cordial bienvenida, que es nuestra sexta edición. Tenemos 30 universidades y colleges canadienses que nos acompañan y por supuesto al gran equipo de Class Education que están aquí para apoyarles, aconsejarlos y seguirlos en este proceso de ir a estudiar en Canadá con nosotros. ¿Listos? ¡Bravo! Muy bien, bienvenidos.
Quiero ir a estudiar un posgrado a Canadá el año que viene, entonces vengo a ver la oferta de las universidades, ver pues qué posgrado es el que tomaría y pues la inversión que tengo que hacer.
Venimos a este congreso para ver los diferentes colleges o las oportunidades para estudiar y trabajar en Canadá, ya que es un objetivo que tenemos de vida y venimos a ver las oportunidades.
Yo estoy aquí porque sí me interesaría ir a estudiar a Canadá.
Canadá es un lugar hermoso donde la gente es súper amigable.
Su nivel de vida es de los más altos en el mundo.
Y que pues ofrece muchas oportunidades con una calidad educativa excelente.
Además de que es una experiencia internacional, estás viviendo con personas de todos lados del mundo.
Conocer distintas culturas, distintas formas de pensar.
Siempre tener un poco más te va a ser diferente. Me llamó la atención de aquí del Congreso el hecho de que da muchas oportunidades.
Muy padre la asesoría también legal para pues, la parte de inmigración, ¿no? De Canadá está muy bien y pues muchas conferencias que te ayudan bastante.
Entre tantas escuelas hay mucha información, hay de dónde decidirse qué estudiar. Mi diploma lo obtuve porque me inscribí a Humber para aplicar.
De hecho, actualmente estoy estudiando medicina y me gustaría hacer algún posgrado.
Ahí en Canadá estoy pensando estudiar ingeniería mecánica. Me pienso quedar al menos 2 años para ampliar mis conocimientos, mis habilidades.
Soy licenciada en Comercio Internacional y pues me gustaría hacer algún tipo de posgrado o alguna certificación en Canadá.
Class Education es una excelente empresa que realmente cumplen lo que te están vendiendo. Yo sí lo recomendaría definitivamente.
Es una empresa con mucha experiencia.
Tienen mucho interés por pues, abrir las puertas, ¿no? A la gente de afuera de Canadá para entrar a Canadá.
Pues que aprovechen las oportunidades que este tipo de ferias ofrecen.
Que se avienten a conocerte este tipo de exposiciones que hay para enriquecerte como persona, como estudiante y pues lo recomiendo muchísimo.
buenas tardes, México. Bienvenidos a todos a nuestro webinario semanal que hacemos cada martes y jueves. Me da mucho gusto verlos aquí y darles la más cordial bienvenida. Mi nombre es Bruno Perón, soy el fundador y presidente de Class Education. Class es una agencia canadiense, por los que no nos conocen, establecido en México desde ya más de 26 años y apoyando a estudiantes mexicanos y de América Latina a hacer sus sueños realidades de venir a estudiar a Canadá aquí con nosotros. Como es costumbre, el webinario del día de hoy será grabado. Lo estamos transmitiendo al mismo tiempo en Facebook Live también, donde pueden también verlo y compartirlos con sus amistades. Les invitamos a ponernos un like o un compartir allí, por favor. Y también estamos, como decía, la grabación del mismo webinario se la mandaremos a todos quien se registró en Zoom. Lo recibirán mañana en un correo por parte de Class Education. Por eficiencia de tiempo, todas las partes de preguntas y respuestas les vamos a pedir que lo manejan en la sección que se llama preguntas y respuestas. Y a lo largo del webinario estaremos contestando en tiempo real y las preguntas o más relevantes o más importantes o más comunes, también las vamos a retomar entre mi invitada del día de hoy y un servidor para el beneficio de todos quienes están escuchando esta grabación. ¿Ok? Bueno, entonces, esos son mis anuncios. Una vez más, antes de empezar, por los que no nos conocen, Class Education, quien está organizando este webinario, somos una agencia canadiense establecida en México desde ya más de 26 años. Hemos enviado hoy día ya más de 10,000 mexicanos a estudiar a Canadá a lo largo de esos 26 años. Trabajamos con todo tipo de escuela en todos los segmentos de la educación canadiense, desde campamentos de verano, año escolar, idiomas y, por supuesto, colleges y universidades en Canadá. Y les ayudamos con una amplia cantidad de servicios, empezando con la consultoría educativa, es decir, les ayudamos a elegir cuál es la mejor institución y el mejor programa según sus necesidades, según su presupuesto, según sus preferencias y dónde quieren estudiar en Canadá. Y estos servicios van desde la consultoría, pero también nos encargamos de la visa para los estudiantes, visa de estudio y de trabajo, del hospedaje, del seguro médico y de toda la coordinación de su viaje para que lleguen a un buen destino, a la escuela que más le conviene, en el mejor tiempo posible, el mejor costo posible también. Entonces, esos somos nosotros, Class Education, un servicio todo incluido y también un servicio hecho a la medida. Es decir, que si alguien tiene, por ejemplo, parientes o amistades que viven en Canadá y se quieren quedar a vivir con ellos, perfectamente bien lo pueden hacer y decirnos gracias, no necesito la parte del hospedaje, eso me encargo yo y lo quitamos de los servicios que le ofrecemos y así haciendo un servicio a la medida para ustedes. ¿Ok? Bueno, entonces esos eran los anuncios que les quiero comentar. Nuestra escuela invitada el día de hoy es nadie menos que el New York Institute of Technology y para apoyarnos en la presentación está conmigo Vanessa. Let me see if I can say it right. Fiabane.
Correct.
Did I say it right?
Perfect.
I could pass for Brazilian almost.
Yes.
Vanessa, nice to meet you. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for being here with us from Vancouver. This is a very famous school. This is I don't want to say an old school, but it's a very established school. NYIT was born in 1955 in the USA, in New York. Today you have two campuses in New York, one in Manhattan, one in Long Island. And you also have two campuses in Vancouver. And that's interesting, I think, because Canada as a country and also Vancouver is becoming such a pole of attraction for international students that large and well-known and well-established American schools are setting foot in Canada. And this, NYIT is not the only one. There's a number of other international schools or American schools that are setting foot in Canada. And a lot of them are choosing Vancouver because of the beauty of the place. And also it's already a very IT kind of place. Film industry is very big here. IT is very big. Services, you know, Amazon is setting shop here as well. So I'm sure you're going to talk about this in your presentation. I'll let you go with your presentation. I'll be here standing by, and we'll take some questions in about maybe 25, 30 minutes after your presentation. We'll take some questions. So tell us about the school. Tell us about your programs. Tell us about everyone will want to know about the postgraduate work permit, obviously, which is a big one. Yeah. So we all want to know about this. And I'm sure you're going to tell us about, you know, the tech industry in general in Vancouver, what it looks like, what the job market looks like for your graduate students. So let's go with that. And para los que no hablan inglés, pues lo siento un poquito, no puedo hacer la traducción simultánea de todo eso, pero si hay parte que no entienden bien, yo puedo con mucho gusto retomar algunas partes cuando tomamos las preguntas en unos 25 o 30 minutos. Okay? Vanessa, all yours. I'll be here standing by.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you, Class Education, for this invitation. We are very happy to be here and to be in touch with the Mexican students, because we do have quite a few students coming from Mexico, and we know those programs that we offer at NYIT are, you know, highly in demand in Vancouver, in the world in general, and is very popular in Mexico already. So I just want to start the presentation talking a little bit about the tech industry in Vancouver. What happened with the startups, what happened to the cybersecurity industry in the clean tech, and how does this connect to our school? So you guys already heard about the Silicon Valley, of course, right? All the big tech industries are there. But a phenomenon that started to happen 2 years ago in Vancouver, many of those companies that you're seeing here, the logos, they were in the Silicon Valley, and they start moving to Vancouver. And not only small startups, but big companies such as Amazon, Lyft, Postmates, Asana. So they're large companies now. They started small, but now they grew and they changed their location to Vancouver. And we're gonna know why, right? So 2 years ago, Vancouver was largely dominated by small startups, 50 employees. But ever since Amazon announced its expansion to Vancouver, bringing 4,000 new jobs to the city, a lot of those companies followed Amazon as well. We have some local success, such as Hootsuite, Avignon, and Slack. They were already here and they are already well known even in the Silicon Valley. But in the last 12 months, the whole scenario switched, and we have big companies moving here, big companies that are worth $1.5 billion, 23 billion, like Lyft. They're all moving to Vancouver. And what this means a lot of jobs being generated, right? And why are they picking Vancouver over other cities in Canada, right? We do have an institution called Innovate BC. So it's a Crown agency, and they do have funds only to support new companies, startup companies, tech companies. So that's one of the reasons. And the other reason is the strong and diverse market that we have here in Vancouver. We literally have people from every single country in the world. So once you step foot in Vancouver and you've been in the other cities in Canada, you will know what I'm talking about. It's complete diverse. You have people from everywhere, and those tech companies are built in those unique talents, right? Another thing is the immigration avenue, right? That is valid for throughout the country of Canada. But in British Columbia specifically, they do have a great program called British Columbia Provincial Nominee Program. So we'll be talking about that program in the end and how is that connected to NYIT. And the other factor that influenced those companies to move to Vancouver is we are in the same time zone. that the Silicon Valley is San Francisco, right? So that really facilitates the meetings. Also, it's very accessible by plane, right? It's a quick 2-hour plane flight to the west of United States. And also cultural speaking, we are very similar to the West Coast of America too. So we love nature. We are also left-leaning and progressive, the way we think, the way we accept others. And how all those startup companies coming to Vancouver, how did this affect the cybersecurity industry
Vanessa,
as well? Yes.
Vanessa, just a second. For some reason, we can't see the well, we can see the presentation, but we can't read any of the writing. So the picture is not clear. Can we give the presentation to Sohaili and she will present the same one, but I think maybe we'll see it better. For some reason, I don't know why, but
yes.
You know, like technology, you know what it's like.
If she wants to take over,
yeah, I think she's going to share right now. Yes.
Stopped.
There we go. There we go. Now we can read. It's weird. Okay, so you just went through the 5 points of reasons why these companies, and this is very, very interesting, by the way, why this huge company like Asana, Lyft, Amazon are moving here, and they're not just offering services here. They're moving here with distribution centers and development centers, and the same way, the same way the film industry moved to Vancouver 25 years ago or 30 years ago. Cost, incentives, good work, availability from the population here, and same time zone as California as well. Anyway, sorry.
Exactly. So all those reasons also impacted the tech industry, as you know. And the next slide will talk about the cybersecurity, which is one of our programs. So we know that ever since this pandemic started to happen and the whole world went online. And what this means online shopping, right? Online shopping, online classes. So that impacted the whole scenario. So cybersecurity now is maybe the highest in demand profession that we have at the moment, because even supermarkets, grocery stores, little grocery stores, pharmacies, and big retails are expanding their online shopping platform. So what did the cybersecurity, what did they do? They help those softwares, those websites to be safe. So the people buying there are not going to be, scammed or any fraud happening, any hackers attack. So that's what the cybersecurity professional does. At the same time, protecting the database from all those companies, which we know information is the gold of today's age. So the cybersecurity professional will protect that against any hack attacks and to make it more secure for the user and also the owner of the web page. And just to illustrate, an average starting salary for cybersecurity in Vancouver is $60,000. This is a starting salary. And with experience and with more education and degrees under their belt, they can reach a 6-figure job, which means making more than $100,000 a year. Of course, the salaries in US are still a little higher than our salaries in Canada. But why are they higher? Because they don't offer the same stability, the same benefits that Canada offers. So we have free healthcare, paid maternity leave, which is huge, right? So all those things they take in consideration when they're picking Canada to leave. Oh, now the next slide, please. And the other big industry in Vancouver is the clean tech. So Vancouver wants to be the greenest city in the world by 2050. And they do have a plan in place already, not only to cover the clean tech industry with energy efficiency, with green buildings, but also what they call green employment. So everyone involved in making the city more sustainable, from food markets to top-notch technology. So that's another big industry in Vancouver. You can move to the next slide. So that's what I was mentioning, just green building, green, clean technology, also infrastructure, right? Vancouver is investing so much in bike lanes and efficient public transit, and that all goes to that professional that will be working towards achieving that goal, right? Not only for companies, for governments, and also corporations. Next slide. So if you are curious to know more about that plan, I leave here the link for you guys. So the name is Vancouver Greenest City 2020 Action Plan. So there you can see what is Vancouver doing to become the greenest city in the world and what type of areas they are looking to hire. And lastly, about those industry, how is that those numbers and those facts that I brought to you today, how are they impacting the industry? They're generating more jobs, and there is a higher demand for qualified people in those specific industries. And when we say specific industries, not only the technical jobs, but also the leadership roles, because we will talk about the M.B.A. as well. So all those companies, they do need a marketing specialist, HR, CEO, director. So that's what the M.B.A. students will be looking forward to become. So next slide, please. So now about NYIT Vancouver, we do have 5 applied master's degrees. And why do I call applied masters? As you guys might be familiar, usually for a Master of Science, you do need to write a thesis, right? For an applied master, you don't need to write a final thesis. This is a professional master, so our focus here are people looking to get the master and go to the industry, not really becoming a professor, going to the academic world. So we have instructional technology, the M.B.A. and M.B.A. in finance, cybersecurity, and energy management. And you can move to the next slide. And why a little bit more about NYIT, right? In Vancouver, we are here since 2000. So we are completing our 20th anniversary this year. We are now 700 students coming from 35 different countries. We do offer 3 intakes per year. So another advantage when you compare us to other public institutions, we have January, May, and September, and our degree is recognized both in USA and Canada. So even if you are moving to another city in Canada and you will maybe working for an American company, they will recognize your degree. Or if you have the possibility of going to live in USA, you can also show your degree is also valid. And one of the main things is our MBAs are accredited by AACSB, which is a collegiate of School of Business that go to the school and evaluates the MBA throughout years until they decide if the school will get the accreditation, the AACSB accreditation, which only 5% of the business schools in the world carry that. So it's a very prestigious accreditation, and this does make a difference when you are applying for jobs. They do look into schools that are ASB accredited. So you will go ahead already of the competition if you have an MBA with this accreditation. And what everyone wants to hear, all our programs are eligible for the post-graduation work permit because we are a degree granting institution. And more than that, we do have 2 programs, the energy management and the cybersecurity. They're also eligible for the BCPNP International Postgraduate, which you can apply even without 1 year of a work experience in Canada or a job offer. You can apply right after graduating from NYIT, and that's a unique benefit that you have by studying at NYIT Vancouver. We are also the only master's degree in cybersecurity in Western Canada. We do know that other institutions in BC offer computer science, IT, information systems, but not cybersecurity specifically. And we also offer this master called Instructional Technology. Another big industry in Canada is education. As you guys may know, we have tons of different schools, not only universities and colleges, but tons of ESL schools. The private sector for high school is also growing tremendously, right? Because we are welcoming so many immigrants. Those immigrants have kids, they need schools as well. So the professional that will graduate from this degree, they will learn how to implement technology into the learning and teaching environment, from middle school to high school to college, ESL, university, even corporations. So basically, they are not going to be teachers. They will be the ones designing the class, designing how the students will learn, how the teachers will teach. So they are basically the future of education and corporate training as well. So the name is Master of Science Instructional Technology. And lastly, energy management. So that's this degree, the students will learn to apply innovative energy management methodology to help corporations, governments, and organizations to meet their climate change commitments. Next slide. So about the cost, we did a comparison actually a few months ago to compare ourselves to other master's degree schools and universities, such as public universities and private. And we realized that we are actually very competitive and even a lot of the times cheaper than public institutions. As per an example, UBC, if you want to go to UBC to do an MBA, you're gonna pay $83,000. While if you go to NYIT, you can pay either $30,000 or $50,000, depending on how many credits you need to take. And that's the difference on the MBA program. MBA is a program that accepts any background of bachelor. So you can come from a business background or you can come from an IT engineering background. So if you come from an IT or engineering, you're not gonna have the fundamental courses of business. Therefore, you need to take some extra classes. And now if you come from business background, finance, accounting, you already know, you already had those classes during your bachelor, so you don't need to retake those fundamental courses, okay? Therefore, your program will be cheaper. And the other programs, an average of $30,000 per year. So let's say $15,000, sorry, $30,000 for the whole program, which is 2 years, and an average of $15,000 per year. And comparing to yep.
Okay, sorry. So these are the costs in US dollars, but for the 2-year masters. So it's about $15,000 per year, which is very affordable for a master's program in very specific industry where there's high demand, you know, cybersecurity, energy management, even instructional technology, which is a new word for me, but we certainly discovered how important this is right now and during COVID, right? I mean, everything is about, you know, teaching through a whiteboard or through Zoom or through some sort of a platform nowadays. And an MBA is always an MBA, and $15,000 a year for an MBA is not expensive, as you say.
Yes, and then we did compare ourselves to other schools to maybe try to see how our price was, right? And then we found out that we are actually very, very competitive.
Yeah.
Again, the student is coming to NYIT looking for quality, right? We're not here to compete in price. We want to deliver quality. We want successful grads. So we can talk about them later, as we're going to see some of them in the end. Next slide. I think that was the video. That's our institutional video that's showing our downtown location. For the ones that have been in Vancouver and been in the Pacific Mall, it's right there. It's that tower. And we are in the 17th floor, so amazing views. Great location. You can live anywhere in Vancouver that you will have access through the Expo line, the both subway lines that we have. And very close to other companies' headquarters. So that slide here is just showing to you guys the name of the program through the provincial program that we are eligible for. So the name is Express Entry BC International Postgraduate category. And those are the areas that are within this category. And I highlighted the ones that our two programs are part for. So computer information science, engineering, engineering technology, natural resources, conservation, and research. So that's why cybersecurity and energy management are part of this program. And the next slide, you can see the different categories that you can apply. So Canadian experience class is the category that the students pick, because they don't need the 1 year experience in Canada and they don't need a job offer. They can apply as soon as they graduate. And why is that so important? It's important for those professionals that are already working for, 5-10 years, and they're now 40 years old, right? And then if they did any research, they realize, oh, when I'm 40, I'm start losing points on my express entry. And how do they convert that? By being nominated by the province. So that's why this program is so popular amongst students that need those points that being granted by the province towards their express entry. But the students can always apply through the federal skill worker too, even the MBA students. But they're just going to apply through the federal skill worker. They're not going to be able to apply through the Canadian experience class. So the MBA students will need to have 1 year work experience and also a job offer to be approved.
In Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah, so that makes a big difference. The Canadian experience class is very, very interesting for these two programs that you mentioned earlier, because it shortened the times. And I know this is sometimes for a more mature student, it could be very, very interesting because they do have the experience from their country originally, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And if you use those links, you can find our name. Our name is actually the first one in their list with the two programs. And we are working towards some new programs that also be included in that program. but that's for another 2 years. And those are the companies that our grads work. So when we say Best Buy, when we say Amazon, when we say H&M, we are talking about the corporate office, the headquarters. So they are working on the corporate side, not the retail side. And all those companies, I could find our alumni through our LinkedIn page. So we keep our alumni relations really well. We communicate with them, we have events, we have professional development. So once you become an NYIT grad, it's not like we're gonna forget about you. We always gonna be in contact with you because we do wanna still help you throughout your career with your professional development and helping you to build connections as well. Next slide. So this is one of our grads. She just graduated, actually. She finished now the summer semester. Her name is Elisa. She went to New York. So she spent 1 semester in New York and learning over there. And she is one of the examples that she was an engineering in Brazil. She worked for the oil company, the oil sector, energy sector, and she wanted to get some managerial positions, leadership roles. So that's why she picked the M.B.A. She said, I already have the technical knowledge. I need the management knowledge, right? And as soon as she graduated, she already got the job as a project coordinator at Shark Energy Systems, which is a Canadian company here. And the next slide will show you also another 2 examples. So Daniel is from Colombia. He just graduated as well. He's already working in a different company too, but differently from Elisa, his background is business. So what is he doing now? He's doing data science. So he's taking care of the data that the company has and making it into information that the sales team and the strategy team can use. And also he took advantage of our graduate association. So he was the president of the graduate association for 1 year. So the graduate association of NYIT, it's always connected to our student services in order to enhance the student services experience through activities, also getting feedback about the programs and helping us to organize their graduation event. The other guy is Carlos. So Carlos is that student that was mature, already had experience, right? And for him, the BCPNP was very decisive when he was picking a school, right? Because for him was the opportunity he had to become a PR in a very short period of time. So he graduated and he's now working as a full stack developer at this company called Omni. And Omni is one of the few companies that were really busy during the pandemic because they work with the medical industry. Next slide. And the other example is Claudimar. So he's an MBA grad. He graduated a few years ago and he has been working for Best Buy as a senior business analyst for quite a while. And then recently he decided to also be an entrepreneur. So he opened first a food truck called Water Food. So he's from Brazil. He decided to open a food truck that had the most popular snack food in Brazil, which is pão de queijo, like a cheese bread, and pastel. And now this year in August, he opened his first store in New Westminster. So it's something that is growing and he's very proud of. Of course, this venture is he's not alone, right? He has partners with him because he's able to keep both his job and this company happening at the same time. And I think we have another slide with 2 more testimonials and success cases.
You mentioned, Vanessa, that you can do a mix of, you could do, for example, you can study in Vancouver and do one semester in New York. Any of these students did that? I think the first lady did that, right? The first graduating student.
Elisa did that. So what they need to keep in mind is the cost of NYIT New York is a little bit higher, so they might pay the difference. And they also need to keep in mind that they need to apply for a visa. So depending on the duration of they intend to stay or depending on their country, they apply for either a F1 or a J1 visa. We
Does
do
that
have,
affect, sorry, does that affect their postgraduate work permit here upon graduation, or it has nothing to do with it?
No, really, because it's the same school and we can show that, and their transcript is not going to really be showing which courses it took where. So it only affects if they decide to graduate in New York. So then they do lose the ability to apply for the post-graduation work permit. But if they're only taking a semester, then it's totally okay. And the last two examples I have for you guys is Harrison. So Harrison is from Mexico, and we're gonna hear more about him. He has a testimonial video. He's working for FedEx now. And Ciro is also working for Best Buy. So Best Buy really likes to hire our grads for M.B.A, for cybersecurity, and all those programs.
Is this a video or yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Gerson Diaz. I am from Mexico City and I graduated on Energy Management Master of Science for NYIT Vancouver. In Mexico, I had a bachelor's degree on computer science from the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México. And I had a lot of experience working for different companies as a data storage specialist. Then 3 years ago in 2017, I decided to immigrate and come to Canada. I looked it up and the energy management program sounded, and it's actually really cool, really interesting. And I applied and I started on the fall on 2017. I graduated after 2 years back in May 2019, and I started working at FedEx as a GTS agent about 3 months after that I finished. Now I'm gaining valuable Canadian experience in my field, and I'm getting more and more tools for me to develop thanks to all the tips and advice that I learned taking this program in NYIT. Professors are super supportive. They're super good at what they do. And also people from the career services, they're always willing to help. So it's just a matter of working hard, apply. It's a really good school. Energy management is a really interesting program, and you will succeed. You will get all the tools necessary to develop in any field that you decide to do. Bye now.
So this video was recorded during the pandemic. So that's why the quality is not the best, but as I like to say, the message is more important. So I wanted to showcase his story because it was a long way for him to be here, and it was not just apply, go to class. No, we really have to put effort, to work hard, to take advantage, you know, of what the career services have to offer, listen to your professors, go to the networking events. This is how you get jobs as soon as you graduate. If you don't really do any of those things, you cannot really blame the institution, right? If they offer to you the tools, make sure you take advantage.
Yeah, it sounds like a nice success story. for this young man there at the end, and the other ones as well. That's the end of your presentation, I believe, Vanessa?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're getting some questions from people that are listening. Just so we are clear, this school offers 5 masters in very specific areas, which are all of them in highly demanded areas of the economy right now, and especially in Canada. All your programs are subject to the postgraduate work permit, which is a very good news. We saw your prices. This is payable per semester, I believe, because everyone's always asking that.
Yeah, so the student can choose if they want to pay per semester or if they want a payment plan. So our finance department will be able to schedule their payments according to their needs, if they want to do monthly or bi-weekly. It doesn't matter, like it's up to them.
Okay. And then you also mentioned that any students at any given point can do one semester. It doesn't matter which semester, right? They can do one semester at another one of your campuses in New York, in Long Island, or in Manhattan?
Yeah, so our curriculums are very similar, if not the same. So that's why it's easy to come back. But of course, if you have this desire of going to New York, I recommend you to talk to your dean, and they will say, oh, go, this semester, because their courses they offer there are really unique. You're gonna, take a better advantage if you go during this time.
Okay, very good. So what I see there is that you are the only school who offers a master in cybersecurity in Vancouver, and that's a big one. That's a big industry right now. It's very much in demand, and good on you that you're the only school that offers that in the Lower Mainland. That's very, very interesting, and I think maybe other schools are wondering why they don't offer that, because so many people are asking for that program, right? That must be a very, very highly in demand program for you, I bet, right?
Yes, so the most competitive programs are energy management and cybersecurity, because the reasons we saw during the presentation, those industries are high in demand for professionals, high quality professionals. So that doesn't mean once you apply that you're going to get accepted right away. You must be a strong candidate, right? So besides sending your transcript, your bachelor degree, we highly recommend you to also send us letter of recommendations, a statement of purpose, which is your letter of admissions. If you have a resume, if you have work experience, we also recommend you to put that, because that makes you a stronger candidate. They can see an entire profile, not only your bachelor degree, your education, but also your experience and what other people, like such as your employers or your professors, are saying about you.
Okay. Speaking of which, what is the time to get a response from the school? Is it 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 days? What is your application time for response?
So we use a platform that is a Salesforce platform for application. So once you guys finish the application, uploaded all the documents, then the average response is 2 weeks. But ever since this pandemic started, we start seeing a lot of deferrals, right, from one intake to another, and that is making our process a little bit slower. So you might be seeing 3 weeks and 4 weeks at the worst case scenario, but usually is a 2 weeks period for you to apply and hear back.
Okay. Are you still taking application for September this year or no?
Yes. So for September, instructional technology is still open.
Okay.
And we are analyzing case by case if the student already have a study permit. So if they have a study permit and they want to apply for the M.B.A, for cybersecurity, for energy management, we are still accepting applications case by case. And the same goes for the January intake. January intake is still open, the M.B.A. program and instructional technology, but cybersecurity and energy management are already closed. But again, we are analyzing case by case if they are good candidates, and they're coming from Latin America, because that's why we are here today. We want to grow this market, right? Me as a Brazilian, I know the difference on the candidates. I've been working in this industry for the last 3.5 years. Professors love students coming from Mexico, from Colombia, from Brazil, because they know they're very hardworking, they are focused, right? They're here to study and to be successful. So NYIT knows that, and that's the type of students that we are looking for as well.
Okay, very good. And are you taking applications for May 2021?
The portal is not open yet. We will open in September. So mid-September, we will let you guys know and you can start applying. But if you have applicants right now, just let me know. And then we definitely going to put them as the first of the list as soon as the portal opens.
Right. Okay, very good. We have a question. Question maybe probably does not apply to you, but Angélica Benítez is asking, hola, hay carreras de animación. Angélica, no, NYIT no ofrece animación. Sin embargo, en Classification trabajamos con varias escuelas, tanto en Vancouver como en otras partes del país, que ofrecen animación, tanto 2 dimensiones como 3 dimensiones. Si estás interesada, déjanos tus datos y con mucho gusto te mandamos información. De hecho, hemos hecho otros webinarios con esas instituciones y te puedo enviar también la grabación de esos mismos webinarios y toda la información de los programas. Okay, so lots of people are giving us their contact information. They're asking us specific programs that you're offering, so that's interesting. Mr. or Mrs. EAZ, not sure if that's his name. Are there any scholarship, and which are the requirements? Scholarship for the program.
We are working towards that. We want to have scholarships available for the Latin America market, and we hope to have good news soon. But as of right now, we don't have. And if we get that approved by New York, we will be looking at the GPA and the educational background to decide which students will be eligible for the scholarship.
Yeah, I imagine also being such a, you're already full for January. It's hard to give scholarship when you're full 6 months ahead of time. I mean, I'm just, looking at the reality of the situation. These industries are, secured employment, good salaries, high demand, possibility to immigrate.
It's
all this works.
What we call the cost and benefit.
Yeah.
Our benefits are much higher than the cost. So we do understand that lots of schools are offering lots of scholarships and they might be a little bit cheaper than us. But what we are aiming here, it's for the success of the student. Our programs are solid. Our services that we offer post-graduation are solid. So that's why our employment rate after graduation is so high. So last year we had a 92% of students graduating within 6 months having a job within their field, right? We are about to do another survey, but then, pandemic hit. So we know a lot of people might have lost their jobs or even transitioning to one job to another. So we will do another survey as soon as possible.
Okay, very good. Speaking of scholarship, I'd like to talk about financing option, because this is also another topic that a lot of people are asking for. ¿Podemos poner la slide del financiamiento, por favor? Existen, en tiempo de COVID sabemos que hay mucha incertidumbre y lo que hemos desarrollado con unas instituciones mexicanas de financiamiento local en pesos es lo siguiente. Ellos pueden financiar una parte o el 100% de sus estudios, inclusive incluyendo sus gastos de vivienda en Canadá, desde el día 1 o un financiamiento parcial y que va para pagar un primer semestre, luego otra parte que va para pagar el segundo semestre y así ir incrementando el monto a financiar. Como sea que lo quieren desarrollar, lo pueden hacer eso con ellos. Lo único que tienen que hacer es ponerse en contacto con nosotros. Nosotros les ponemos en contacto con esas instituciones y hablan a través de un estudio socioeconómico que puede durar 5 a 10 minutos. Ellos les pueden decir rápidamente si son sujetos a un financiamiento y por qué monto. Y de ahí partimos. Le doy un ejemplo ahí en la pantalla. Un financiamiento, por decir algo, de 175,000 pesos. Si fuera a 24 meses, nos daría un pago mensual de 9,726 pesos. O si fuera a 36 meses, que son 3 años, sería 7,340 pesos por mes. Lo interesante aquí es que esos pagos se mantienen en pesos, son fijos, pase lo que pase con el peso. Entonces, si en 2 años o en 3 años o en 5 años, la tasa de cambio seguramente se va a mover y esos pesos, pues esos precios se mantienen como están. También hay diferentes modalidades donde uno puede decir que pues, al principio, mientras está estudiando, los pagos a la deuda son menor, como en el cuadro negro que está abajo. Y una vez que ya están empezando a trabajar por el Postgraduate Work Permit que van a tener por 3 años, ya incrementar el monto de los pagos de la deuda. Y eso también ellos lo pueden adaptar para que sea más fácil y más viable para ustedes, ¿no? Si pasamos a la siguiente slide del financiamiento, como decía, lo único que tienen que hacer es avisarnos que es una opción que les interesa. Les ponemos en contacto con la empresa de financiamiento, le hacen un estudio socioeconómico que se tardan unos 5 a 10 minutos y luego le pueden decir qué tanto les pueden financiar y juntos se ponen de acuerdo si es sobre un financiamiento a 6 meses, a 2 años, a 3 años, hasta 5 años, que es lo más largo. Siempre con la posibilidad de pagar o repagar estos préstamos de forma más rápida, si así lo desean o si así lo pueden hacer, ¿no? Entonces, y si es así, pues pagan menos interés, obviamente. Entonces, un muy buen plan para contractuar un poquito lo que está pasando con la incertidumbre que nos llevó el COVID-19. Y mucha gente han optado por esa opción ahorita para no parar los sueños, para no parar los proyectos de estudiar, de prepararse y de empezar a disfrutar de esa educación y también mientras están aquí también pueden empezar a trabajar temporalmente a medio tiempo mientras están estudiando y al graduarse disfrutar del permiso laboral de 3 años que les otorga el gobierno canadiense. ¿Okay? Entonces, muy interesante la opción de financiamiento, se lo quería comentar. I bet you got some of that language, Vanessa, since you speak Portuguese. Or maybe you speak a little Portuñol.
I speak some Portuñol.
Okay, another interesting thing. I see that, I did not know that about your program, that you do not have to do a thesis at the end of your master's, because these are applied masters. I did not know that. Very, very interesting. I like the idea of not having to do a thesis. And also I like the idea that your masters are applied masters. Very, very insightful for me. This is the first time I hear about this, and I think it's great news.
Yes, and then I see also that a lot of people are asking that, and they're also asking what type of English tests we accept.
Yeah.
So we do accept IELTS Academic, TOEFL, Duolingo, and the PTE test. And in case your English, you still need some work, right, with your English, we also have 4 pathway partners that you can join, and I'm pretty sure Class Education work with all of them because they are, the biggest players in Vancouver. So the Language Gallery, ILAC, ILSC, and VGC are our pathway partners. So if you need to improve your English, you can also do that. And what this is going to happen with your LOA, your letter of acceptance, it will be a conditional letter of acceptance until you finish your pathway program with them. Then you'll be able to join and get an unconditional LOA. And about the tests for graduate programs for the MBA, they will sometimes ask you to take the GMAT only if your GPA is below 3.0 on a scale of 4. So we use the American scale. We will calculate this here, so you guys don't need to worry about calculating. So your GPA needs to be good, 3.0, so you don't need to take the GMAT. And for the Master of Science in Energy Management and Cybersecurity, they sometimes need to take the GRE test, only if your GPA is below 2.85 in a scale of 4. And they're not required. Admissions will ask you that after they did their first analysis of your application.
Okay, so if they're not required, but they ask for it, then they become required on a case-per-case scenario.
Yeah, only if the GPA, the grades, right, are lower than what we required.
Okay, you talked about Duolingo and IELTS. Again, what are the levels you need?
So for Duolingo, it's 105 for MBA and 110 for the other programs. I can even
That's very low, isn't it?
share my screen with you guys. That's why it's another benefit of.
It's quite low, yeah. It is. Most schools ask for a higher level of English, I believe.
And the main thing is for since there are master programs, right? The students, they need to have a high understanding of the language and not so much the speaking part, but a high understanding, and they will gain that also doing the pathway program. Do you see the screen right now?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so 105 for the MBA and 110 for the rest of the programs.
Yes, and 6.0 a minimum band for MBA and overall 6.5 for cybersecurity, energy management, and instructional technology. And those are our pathway partners and the levels that the students need to achieve in order to be ready to start.
Okay, and yes, we at class, we work with all these language schools, so no problem with that.
So your intakes.
Okay, another question. Since you're an authorized institution, you're on a DLI list, anyone that goes studies with you can, first of all, work part-time while they're studying and get the 3-year postgraduate work permit upon graduation. And also, a lot of our clientele goes with either a spouse or a family. So again, the spouse can also work full-time while the other partner is studying. And if they have children from age 5 to the last year of high school can study free in the public system in Canada, correct?
Exactly. So in terms of visas, we are eligible for the 3 years because our programs are 2 years viewed by the IRCC. But we always like to highlight we are eligible for, we don't want to overpromise, right? So if you are following the rules and taking the program into 5 semesters, then you are going most likely to get the 3 years. And for the ones looking to get the BCPMP, they apply as soon as they graduate, and they already have to create their express entry profile, and then they can apply for the provincial program as well.
Okay. Can students, when they do 1 semester in New York, can they work at the same time?
They cannot work in US. So they have to be prepared financially for that. And that's why we sometimes recommend just go for 1 semester, right? Because it is more expensive than studying at NYIT Vancouver. And this way, they also secure that this is not going to affect their post-graduation work permit.
Eso del poder trabajar mientras uno estudia y tener el postgraduate work permit son beneficios exclusivos de que ofrece Canadá comparado con Estados Unidos, Inglaterra y varios otros países. La verdad que son beneficios únicos y por eso también el mundo está viendo a Canadá para estudiar. Seguramente así, por eso también lo hizo también Vanessa, que llegó de Brasil para estudiar aquí y pues hoy día está trabajando porque es un beneficio muy interesante que te permite trabajar por 3 años al graduarte y en ese lapso de tiempo también ya es tiempo que te da para aplicar por la residencia permanente. Entonces, programas bastante interesantes. Ok, Vanessa, who do you think would be your perfect, or who do you think the school is perfect for in Mexico? I'm thinking maybe young professionals that are working in IT maybe, or already working professionally, and they're ready to maybe think of a new place to establish themselves and use that vehicle of education while their partner can work at the same time, full time, and then really, their pathway to immigration in a great city, in a great environment, in a great industry where there's lots of good paying jobs. Am I right? Am I there? Or who do you think is the school for?
So it's a difficult question because the school can fit any of those profiles. Young students that just recently graduated, right?
Yeah.
And they want to come and then they want to start their career from scratch. They're going to have a different result once they graduate, right? Because they don't have a huge work experience. We are also suitable for those professionals that are coming with their families and they have work experience and they want now to become managers, directors, coordinators, CEOs, and they want to come to do our M.B.A, right? And they want to advance in their career. So their career is not going to start from the beginning. As soon as they graduate, they will have a better job, right? Because they already have a background. And it's also suitable for those professionals that are over 40 and they are super qualified, right? They had amazing jobs in Mexico working for big Fortune 500 companies, but now they want to come to Canada. So that's also suitable for them because we have the pathway for their PR if they are applying to the energy management or the cybersecurity program.
Very interesting. And I'm sure we have a lot of professionals like this on the call right now, and because we see it in every call. So I'm sure this is like music to their ears because they do fear that after a certain age they are not so eligible, for the work industry. And I think because there are lots of people in Mexico with great experience and lots of good knowledge, but they missed that component. And I think NYIT here can deliver really big on that item that's missing, and also on the work possibility afterwards. Speaking of which, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to point it out that the experience that they had in their home country associated with the degree they have here, with more living the language, this will make them a very unique professional.
Yeah.
And this is what is going to make the Canadian industry to accept them, is combining this work experience that they have with a Canadian degree here. So this is actually what they're looking for when they are talking about immigration and, facilitating immigration for Latin America. This is the focus now for IRCC. They're reducing the times of visa processing, of course, not considering pandemic, but normally this is what they're going to do. They want to focus in Latin America.
Yeah, true. Very good. Okay, we have Alejandro Huerta saying, do you have any agreement with CONACYT, the Mexican government? I think he's asking this for, CONACYT is an institution in Mexico, and the Mexican government, sometimes they have special bursary program for post-secondary studies abroad.
We don't have anything signed with them. We are constantly in contact with the Canadian consulate and embassy in Mexico and other countries. And we do know they offer specific scholarship programs for graduates, for masters, right? So as long as we have candidates with this profile and wanting to apply for this scholarship, if we can make that happen, if we can sign this agreement, we are open to. But we don't have any agreements signed with them yet.
Okay, muy bien. Diego Lombardero pregunta, ¿hay programas para estudiar cinematografía? No en esta escuela, Diego, pero sí, como decía hace ratito, trabajamos en Class Education con más de 300 instituciones canadienses y tenemos varios que ofrecen estudios de cine y todo lo relacionado con la industria de cinematografía. Así que déjanos tus datos, Diego, y con mucho gusto te podemos enviar opciones, inclusive webinarios previos a este que hemos hecho con escuelas que ofrecen esos programas. EAZ again, or EZ, I guess, is asking a very important question, I think. How does it cost to live in Vancouver? Well, Vanessa, you live in Vancouver, I live in Vancouver. How much does it cost for a student to live? Because I'm not a student anymore. I have a big family, and I don't want to tell you how much I'm paying, but how much does it cost to rent a place in Vancouver? I know a homestay is about $950 to $1,000 per month, with 2 meals included with your private room. What is your situation? Are you living by yourself, or are you living with room?
Yeah, it took a while, right? It's not a short journey, so you have to keep your expectations low. Of course, if you come with the family, you will necessarily rent a whole place for you, right? So that's a different price point. But if you're a student coming alone, then you can consider the homestay, as you said. You can also consider to rent room. You can also consider to come here, make friends with your classmates, and then get a place. But one thing that we are hearing, which is good from this pandemic, is the rental cost. So the rental cost went down. So that's good news for people starting in fall semester, spring semester. If they can come to Canada, if they have the visa, they'll be paying less for their rent. So that's a good time to come to Vancouver. But if you are keeping your expectations low, I would say you can find places from 700 to 1,000 to share, right? And if you want a place for yourself, then you might be looking at 1,200 to whatever. There is no limit in Vancouver. You can pay
there's no limit.
5,000 for one place. But 1,200 with this pandemic now is doable if you really look right in different neighborhoods. But rather than the rent, people say that Vancouver is expensive. I don't really think so, because if you compare us to other metropolis, we are kind of the same.
Yeah, I find the same. I think food is about the same price as in Mexico. For example, I lived in Mexico for 20 years. What is more expensive is certain items, like mangoes and limes are very expensive because they don't grow here. They all come from Mexico, especially in the winter time. But other than that, I think restaurants are more expensive, but the cost of food for the house is about the same price. Housing could vary, and I would highly recommend that someone comes at least at the beginning for the first month or 2 or 3 months to stay with a family, get your bearings, see how the city works, see the distances, go see places maybe with potential roommates, and then find a place. But comes first with a family. It's much more secure. You can't lose with a family, so you always have food on your plate.
Yes, this is a really good plan, because nothing better than to look the place yourself. Exactly. Don't rent places, don't pay for places from Mexico, because there are lots of scams going on.
Yeah. So the fact that you guys have class education to help you out on your first months here, it really, really pays off.
Yeah, and we offer that housing services as well. We offer the airport pickup service as well. We offer the visa service as well, a visa for work and study for the student and his or her family as well. So all these services are part of the services we offer to our students. Ok, Berta Constantino pregunta si se puede trabajar y estudiar al mismo tiempo. Sí se puede, ya hemos contestado eso. Se puede trabajar medio tiempo, 20 horas por semana mientras estudias. Y al graduarte de esos programas, se te ofrece automáticamente un permiso de trabajo por 3 años. Mónica Benavides, solicitan GMAT para las maestrías. You think you answered that. GMAT is on a case-per-case basis, depending if their GPA is a little bit lower than what you need, correct?
Yes, and the same goes for the GRE. And about the work and study, NYIT does have on-campus opportunities too. And I always wanted to see a Latin American student taking that opportunity because we have several opportunities and, you know, the turnover is quite high. So we're always hiring new people to help us with our marketing team, with our student services team, academics team, and admissions team. So that helps a lot with the finance too, because the hours that you work on campus, they don't count towards your 20 hours off campus.
Okay. We have a gentleman who arrived a little bit later and he wanted to know about the pricing. In a nutshell, it's about $30,000 US for all the programs. And we'll talk about the M.B.A, but about all the programs, that's for the 2-year program. So it's about $15,000 US per year, payable per semester or per year. And I'm sure you wouldn't mind if someone pays you 2 years ahead of time, but we can pay by semester. And anyone who registered for this will also get the recording of this, and you'll be able to see the exact amount. Or anyone at class, if you leave us your contact information, anyone at class can also send you these prices in a quote as early as tomorrow. Okay? Okay, Berta Constantino again is asking, tengo dudas en relación a EEBC en cuanto a la edad porque baja puntos. So she has some questions about the EEBC program with respect to age. I guess I'm anticipating that she's a little bit older, maybe above 30. So what can you tell her about this, Vanessa?
So my personal story, I did apply through the provincial program, but not the Canadian experience class. I did that through the federal skill worker because I did have 1 year of experience here. I had a job offer. So that is even good for the M.B.A grads, right? What is different on our case, NYIT case, is that students over 40 years old, they start losing points on their express entry and they lose fast. They lose like 10 points every year. So you're 40, you lost 10, 41, another 10. So if the cutting point for you to be invited to apply in BC is around 450, 471 sometimes, if you are approved under the BC PNP, you get 600 points right away, just because you are approved. So that goes straight to your express entry profile, which means it's gonna sum with the points that you already had, plus those 600 points. So you will be invited to apply right away. I got invited 3 days later than that was approved for the provincial program. So it's actually, I'm the living proof that programs really help and really works.
So you are a permanent resident now?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Very good. Alejandro Huerta is saying, how much money does he have to prove or to show for him to get his visa? And the answer to that, Alejandro, is approximately $12,000 per person. If you're coming by yourself, about approximately $12,000. If you pay if you pay the first semester before you apply for the visa, that only looks better on you. Of course, you don't need to show that much money in the account, but that helps also for your visa
case
application.
Yeah.
And I remind you that, in-class education, we've been doing visa, study visa and work visa for the last 20 years or so. So we have a lot of experience in this, and we can guide you through this. We do 99.9% of all of our students' applications. And because sometimes some of the students are Canadians and they just happen to live in Mexico or they don't need a visa or whatever. But for all the students that go with us, we usually do their visa for them. And we have a very high rate in a 99, 98, 99% success rate as well. So very, very important to do this the right way. Ricardo Medina dice, ¿dónde puedo encontrar más información en la Ciudad de México hay establecimientos? Ricardo, creo que no sé si te refieres a la escuela o a Class Education. Con respecto a la escuela, es una escuela muy establecida desde 1955 y hay información en línea sobre NYIT. Sobre Class Education también, pues, hablar a la embajada. Creo que la embajada sigue cerrada, pero a lo mejor mandar un correo a la embajada. Te podemos dar esta información. Te pido que alguien de clase te dé el correo de la embajada. La Cámara de Comercio Canadiense en México también somos miembro allá. Somos miembro fundador de la Cámara de Comercio Canadiense en México y trabajamos de la mano con la Embajada de Canadá, tanto el consulado de Canadá en México como la embajada. Entonces, digamos que hay manera, y también con NYIT también puedes checar quién es Class Education y a través de muchas otras instituciones. Trabajamos con más de 300 instituciones canadienses. Entonces, si te podemos ayudar con referencias de Class Education, con muchísimo gusto, inclusive con ex clientes o clientes actuales nuestros. Carlos Molina is asking if we could share the presentation with you. Yes, Carlos, you will receive this presentation tomorrow morning in your inbox, and I invite you to like us on Facebook and on YouTube, see our videos, see all the other webinars. We have over 35 or 36 other webinars there. Check them out, gives us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and all this is helping us, and it's something you'll find a lot of information which will help you in making your decision to come to Canada and find the right institution and the right program for you. Okay, we talked a lot about PNP program. You just told us that example. Vanessa, I think that was very good. Is there anything, I'll see if there's more questions, but is there anything else you feel we need to share with people that are listening to us today, Vanessa?
I just would like again to thank for the opportunity, and hopefully soon I will be able to go in person to Mexico as well once we are back to normal. And I just want to say that if you are a good candidate, we are analyzing cases from Latin America very carefully because it is a market that we want to grow. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask class, and we are in constant communication to make your dream to come to Canada and not only come and have, any job. You actually want to have a career, make decent money, have a very good life here. I'm pretty sure you can find one of our 5 programs will do that for you.
Absolutely. Very good. I was looking through the other question. I saw an interesting one that I'd like to share with you, Vanessa. People are giving us their contact information again and asking, some of them are asking, would you be available, Vanessa, for another maybe private or more private between someone from class, you and a potential client, potential students that'd like to talk with you about their particular situation? Would you be able to another Zoom session with someone like this?
For sure. That's
okay.
What I'm here for.
Okay, so anyone interested, let us know and we can ask. I know she's a very busy woman, but we will, especially now she's a permanent resident. So, but we'll book some time ahead of time, and we'll organize for this. That was one of the questions, and the other one is tomorrow you'll get the recording of this webinar. We talked about this. I had a good question. I didn't write it down, so. Diego Martinez is asking if you can get information on the Cybersecurity Master. So Diego, if you do leave us your information, contact information, we will send you the information on that master. A very good master, very interesting and highly demanded master. So all the programs start 3 times a year, or do you have any program that do not start 3 times a year?
Yes, all of them start 3 times a year. Just keep in mind those 2 programs are super competitive. So as soon as the portal opens, it might just close very quickly. So that's why it's important to be working with a partner like class, because we are able to communicate with them and say, portal is open, apply now, right? So they will know, and they know that you are interested, they have your contact information, so they will be able to tell you, now is the time to apply. And it's really important to act quickly so you don't lose your spot.
Sí, lo que hacemos normalmente es que armamos toda la aplicación y la dejamos en stand-by, y ya tenemos todos los documentos revisados, inclusive revisados por Vanessa con nosotros, y cuando dice, Bruno, abrimos mañana a las 8 de la mañana, a las 7:50 estamos listos para poner el send, y ya cuando abren lo mandamos. Y así es la manera que podemos asegurar un espacio, porque sí son cosas muy en demanda. Muy bien. Oye, Vanessa, I really like this option. I like the I discovered something new today, and I'm very happy about that. Thank you very much for sharing all your knowledge with us and all your experience. I think this is a unique opportunity, a unique school for our clientele. And I'm looking forward to sending you, good candidates for you to consider for your programs. Thank you very much for all your time. Thank you for enlightening us about your programs. We look forward to receiving you in Mexico. In the meantime, we'll continue to enjoy the Vancouver weather and the Vancouver summer and almost COVID-free environment. And before we leave, maybe leave on that note. Let's talk a little bit about the COVID situation here in Canada. Tell us, what is your take on the first semester? Will be this fall semester, I guess, will be online. Tell us about the situation right now.
Yes, so because we are a private institution, it's on our advantage that our students are able to come, right, and experience, especially when they're dealing with labs and energy management and cybersecurity. So we went online for summer intake, 100%, but for fall, we are going to be using a mixed hybrid system. So we will have in-person classes and online classes. Of course, for those students that got approved on stage 1, they will be able to do the first semester entirely online, and we highly recommend that they do start. And the reason why is all those rules, the new rules and accommodations written by IRCC, they are valid for this year's start date. We still don't know what's happening with next year's start date. And we are accepting the stage 1. So if the person has the approval, we'll be able to do online. If the person had a visa before March 18th, those people are already landing in Vancouver. We wrote a support letter, and the support letter will be in place, I believe, for the next year, so 2021. We're going to issue a support travel letter saying the student is enrolled in an in-person class. So if you want to come to Canada and if you meet the requirements put up by the IRCC and the board officers as well, then we are going to be supporting you, and you can come and live in Vancouver, which is almost COVID-free, as Bruno said. It's very nice to enjoy summer now, and then fall and winter. We have our beautiful mountains here. If you guys like to see the snow, to ski or snowboard as well.
Sí, eso es muy importante. Hace una semana o 10 días más o menos el gobierno canadiense anunció que va a hacer 2 etapas en la aprobación de visas. Cualquier persona que todavía quisiera empezar en septiembre, en algunas instituciones todavía aceptan aplicaciones, podrán aplicar, ser aceptado por las instituciones y mientras aplicamos por la visa, nos va a dar una respuesta del Stage 1 que llaman, que es una respuesta rápida, que tus documentos están en orden y que todo bien. Y con eso ya puedes empezar el programa y podrás calificar por el permiso laboral que te van a dar después de graduarte. Por el COVID, el gobierno canadiense otorgó la posibilidad de hacer estudios en línea hasta el 50% del programa, es decir, septiembre semestre y el segundo semestre de enero también lo podrían hacer en línea, mientras que el otro año sería presencial y con eso todavía podrán graduarse y ser sujeto al famoso Postgraduate Work Permit, que es el permiso laboral de 3 años después de graduación. Eso es una gran ventaja porque uno puede seguir trabajando en México mientras estudia aquí. Uno no tiene que pagar los costos de vivir en Canadá, lo puede nada más pagar la escuela. Son muchas ventajas muy interesantes y por eso, como decía Vanessa, les invitamos a los que quieren todavía empezar en septiembre. Habrá que apurarse, habrá que empezar ya, hoy mismo, pero si se puede todavía, entonces les invitamos a los que quieren hacer eso, que sea con NYIT o con cualquier otra institución con quien trabajamos, se puede hacer eso todavía. ¿Ok? Entonces, Vanessa, I got a quick question here from Ana Lucia Mena Rodriguez. She says, in the application form, there's no space to put the Duolingo score. Is that true?
In the application form, they will do their transcripts, their passport, and some of the documents. And they can put the Duolingo and another link. That name is on the application requirements page, on NYIT page. It's upload your documents. So you can say test score, and then you can upload separately because we are not going to accept Duolingo forever, right? So you can only put IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE as of right now on your first stage of application. Duolingo, you put in the other stage of application using a different link to upload your Duolingo result.
Okay, so maybe write that name down, Ana Lucia Mena Rodriguez. Ana Lucia Mena Rodriguez. She is, I understand she is registering right now. So that's pretty fast. And Ana Lucía, te invito, si quieres te ayudamos con el proceso de la aplicación, también todo eso lo podemos hacer porque varios de tus documentos deben ir traducidos y tenemos estos servicios también en Class Education. En fin, ahí ya lo dejamos. Vanessa ya tiene tu nombre y le vamos a dar seguimiento a eso, pero no dudes en buscarnos para apoyarte. Okay, very good. Oh, does the school have daycare? Well, Vancouver has lots of daycare, maybe probably in the vicinity of the school as well, right? There are daycares?
Because we are downtown, not so many downtown area, but on the Broadway Tech Center, which is East Vancouver, yeah. They do have a daycare within the complex. Okay. Because you are a student, you might have some advantage there as well, but then I have to double check with our student services department.
Okay, muy bien. Okay, well, thank you very much, Vanessa. I think we can leave it there. We still have some questions coming in, but at one point we need to cut it short. And it's already 6:30 here in Vancouver. It is 8:30 in Mexico. So thank you very much again. Muchas gracias a todos los que nos siguieron en este webinario. Gracias al equipo de Class por hacer esta parte tanto visual y técnica y de respuestas automáticas pero en tiempo real posible, tanto en Facebook como en Zoom. Estaremos en contacto. Los que están interesados, ahí están nuestros datos de contacto en la pantalla. No dudan en investigar. Es buen momento para seguir investigando, tomar decisiones, iniciar, y estamos aquí para apoyarlos en este camino. Les invito a seguir con nosotros. El día jueves tenemos otro webinario con George Brown College, una gran institución de la provincia de Ontario, una institución pública de mucho renombre también. Los vemos aquí el jueves a las 7 p.m. hora de México. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Que tengan una muy buena noche. Gracias.
Muchas gracias a todos. Buenas noches. Espero verte pronto.
So you do speak Spanish.
Very bad. Very bad.
Very well. Thank you.
Thank you.